inevitable.
Now, when looking forward to next week in that title shot, I'm sure you have a message for both of those guys. What do you want them to let them know? I'm coming! What?
So last night was UFC Perth, obviously main event being between Reyes and Ulberg. Reyes got knocked the hell out, man. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. In an ideal world, he would have obviously got the knockout, but we don't live in an ideal world, I guess. To be honest, I'm not really that sad that Reyes got knocked out. I mean, obviously, I don't like to see... I'm not like praying on anyone's downfall or anything, but, you know, I'm not like sitting here crying on my bed like, you know, one of them ones. Anyway, let's talk about some of the fights. First one to talk about, Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. This was kind of just one of those classic, you know, Navajo Sterling wins by unanimous decision. It was kind of a lackluster fight, to be honest. I mean, Navajo Sterling, he did land a few nice shots in there, but against Rodolfo Bellato, you should be, you know, finishing him or doing much better at least. You know, even Rodolfo Bellato took down Navajo Sterling in that last round, but the main thing that happened in this fight was just clinching. It was so much clinching. Maybe in that second round, I think it was that second round, Sterling got a takedown and he had some, you know, controlled time and ground and pound, but apart from that, lackluster performance. And then in his post-fight interview, he calls out, I don't know who, I think it was a guy who lost in the co-main event today, Ivan Erslan. I think that's who he called out. I don't know why you would call him out, because like, that's not gonna get you any closer to, you know, getting a ranked fight. If I was him, I would call for a ranked fight. I think he deserves it, especially in a, you know, in a division which is not that stacked. Like, if you look at the number 15, 14 guy, you got Ming Yang, you got Menafield. I definitely think you can secure a nice little fight with Menafield if you are Navajo Sterling. Bellato, he didn't look terrible, but, you know, he was just kind of given to Navajo Sterling for a free win, and Sterling didn't really look that good, to be honest. Or it's not that he didn't look good, it's just that, you know, it was a very lackluster performance, kind of boring. Next up, Neil Magny versus Jake Matthews. I don't know what the hell is going on in this picture, but oh my days. Crafty vet submission once again. We've seen Tim Elliott do it. We've seen Neil Magny do it multiple times. You know, we've seen Davey Grant. These guys are all the definitions of crafty vets, and they strike again, with Neil Magny getting a submission over Jake Matthews in that third round. There were a few, you know, points of interest in this fight. Obviously, that first round at the very end, Neil Magny gets locked up in a 1 minute long, you know, guillotine submission. I don't know how he survived for 1 minute in that, but fair enough to him. And then I think there was literally 1 second left on the clock, and the ref stopped it early because he thought that Neil Magny, you know, was choked out. But then obviously he wasn't. Imagine that's where the fight got stopped, bro. That would have been insane. And obviously, in Neil Magny fashion, he comes back and he gets that submission in the third round. It was also a very crafty submission, a nice little Dars choke, pretty much out of nowhere. They were just on the ground and then he just gets it. What's next for them? I think Neil Magny, I don't think he's good enough to be a ranked fighter. I think he loses to pretty much everyone in those rankings, but he is a amazing gatekeeper. He's the definition of gatekeeper. You know, he beat Mike Mallow, he's beaten Dos Santos, he just beat this guy, and I think just keep him there. He obviously is 38 years old now. He's probably way past his prime now, but he's still getting submissions, he's still getting really good wins. So I reckon keep him in there, keep him in the mix, and just whenever there's a guy that you're trying to test, you know, whilst they're going up to the rankings, give him Neil Magny, man. Maybe him versus Kevin Holland. Obviously, I know Kevin Holland is fighting Mike Mallow at UFC Canada, and I do know that Kevin Holland has been, you know, showing interest in that Neil Magny fight, so I would like to see that. Next up, the co-main between Jimmy Crute and Ivan Erslan. Jimmy Crute gets that submission in that first round. I don't even know what kind of submission you would even call this. Literally just pulled on his face. Like, you can literally see in this picture, he just pulled on his neck and he tapped. So good submission for Jimmy Crute, 2 in a row now, I think it is. And he said that he wants to turn around for Sydney in February. I do like that. I like that he's trying to stay active and stuff. You know, he didn't actually call out a specific name, but in his last win, he did call out a specific name, and I do think that would be a good step up for him. Dustin Jacoby in Sydney in February of next year. That's good for him, man. And finally, of course, the main event between Ulberg and Reyes. Ulberg gets the first round KO over Reyes. It was a very good KO, and it builds a very strong case for him for that next title shot. It's exactly what he needed, but unfortunately it had to be Reyes on the receiving end. It was always going to happen though. I don't know why people were predicting Reyes to get this done. Obviously I predicted Ulberg, and he did get that KO in the first round. It's unfortunate to see, but you know, I don't feel that bad. I mean, Reyes, he had his resurgence. He has all the fans behind him. He has so much, you know, love and support from the fans. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, of course, but I'm just saying, like, you know, he's had his time. He's 35. Obviously, it is unfortunate that he didn't get his hand raised against Jones, but all that stuff. But that's all done now, I guess. He got KO'd. It is what it is. I think he should retire now. I don't think he will retire now, but I think that's what he should do. This fight was kind of lackluster until the KO. I mean, it's like one of those fights where even though there was a first round finish, it was still kind of a dead fight. Like if you rewatch, what's it called? Woodley versus Robbie Lawler. Literally, all they're doing is just feinting and then missing shots until the knockout shot, which is the same that happened in this fight. I mean, Reyes looked terrible. I mean, I think Ulberg deserved to win this fight because Reyes, I don't even think he landed a single kick, let alone a punch. He didn't throw anything. He didn't land anything, of course. And, you know, Ulberg maybe landed a few leg kicks before getting that knockout shot. Literally, the first shot that lands clean, Ulberg knocks him out. So, that's all she wrote. What's next for them? Obviously, Reyes, I would like to see him retire, but I don't think he will. So, I would say he needs someone that's like really washed up. I think most people in the rankings do actually beat him. I know he knocked down Nikita Krylov, but I think him versus Johnny Walker is really the only other matchup at light heavyweight. I definitely do not recommend him to go to heavyweight because he's going to get knocked out by one punch. But Johnny Walker, they both have glass chins, they both have great power, so that's the only other fight I really see for him at this point. But I'd say just retire. I mean, there's nothing else left to prove. You've had your resurgence. It didn't really go to plan, but that's how it goes, I guess. Now, Carlos Ulberg. Look, man, Hopro MMA said a good point. Next week, UFC 320. Of course, that featured fight, Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree. And obviously the main event between Pereira and Ankalaev. Depending on the winners of those two fights, depends on who gets the title shot. Now, first of all, I want to say the winner of this fight, Ulberg versus Reyes, and the winner of Roundtree versus Prohaska, they both deserve title shot. But it's kind of a case of when. You know, it was like the middleweight division, right? Obviously, we had Imamov versus Caio Borralho, and then we had Hernandez versus Derrida. And both of them, the winner of both those fights deserve the title shot. But it's just a matter of who goes first. You know, one has to wait for a little bit. Obviously, now that's not really an issue because Hernandez bloody pulled out. But hopefully, Khalil Roundtree versus Yuri Prohaska still goes ahead. But look, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. I think if Magomed Ankalaev wins, give him the winner of Prohaska versus Roundtree first and then fight Ulberg. If Alex Pereira wins, of course, he's already beaten both guys. I'm talking about Khalil Roundtree and Yuri Prohaska. He's beaten Yuri Prohaska twice. So yeah, give him Ulberg, man. And especially Ulberg, he made a good case for himself with this KO. Very good statement made. I think he deserves it. So that's that. So that's about it for UFC Perth. Overall, I would say it's kind of a mid-fight night, to be honest. Maybe 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 max. Just because, bro, there were a lot of, you know, boring fights, decisions, not many finishes, to be honest. You know, the main card did kind of make up for the lackluster prelims, but it is what it is, man. You guys let me know your thoughts on this card, on this video, my takes, anything in the comment section down below. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Turn on that post notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload. And that's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Safe.